Friends, relatives, strangers, and enemies, welcome to another episode of the Texas Conservative Channel. You know, friends, relatives, and strangers, I hope your Halloween goes well. Have a good one. Enemies, I hope your Halloween goes crappy. I hope your Halloween goes crappy, and I hope that watching this show just makes you irritated as hell. And by some of the comments that I get here on the Texas Conservative Channel, I know that irritates you. So obviously, if liberals are upset, and people who don't like conservatives are upset, and people who like Obama, they get on here and watch my videos and they're upset that I am making headway because I do what I do. Now, it's Halloween. Halloween is my favorite time of year. Lots of smiles and fun on Halloween. But sometimes that fun is not as good as it could be because of the understanding of the surroundings. But nonetheless, horror stories can be told. And here's a unique one here for you out there, YouTubers, and MySpacers, and the people who watch Tick'em.com. Once upon a time, there was this country called the United States of America. And this nation has been attacked brutally. And the nation waged war against the enemy that had waged the attack. And the enemy came within countries, within a terrorist network. And the United States, in defending itself, invaded these two nations, these two theaters of terrorist operation. And during the course of the struggle, there were ups and downs, but nonetheless, the United States was winning in both theaters. And during the course of history, when leaders come about, elections happen and leaders come about, and the United States elected a different leader. And this leader had a pretty face, a big smile, talked bold, sounded as though he could deliver the world to the American people. But as the horror story goes in Halloween, like I said, is a good time for horror stories, so the horror story goes that lies were told the American people by this elected president. Middle class people within the United States were told that they wouldn't get a tax raise, but they did. And the war on terror was being won, and as soon as this president was elected and his policies were enacted, during the course of the year, the war on terror started to be lost. And this nation of Afghanistan that the United States had invaded and was winning in, was defeating the terrorists that attacked it, was no longer on the offensive. This President of the United States declared that he would pull out of one theater of terrorist operation and started doing so after all the hard work of all the brave men and women. It spurred an uprising in another theater of operation, as the horror story goes. And all of that effort in that theater of operation was lost. And so goes the policies of this elected president, this new president of the United States, who after a year in office didn't do crap and hadn't done crap. And the president of the United States has made some of the honest decisions that could be imagined as the horror story goes. Fines for uninsured people. Fines or jail. Lies about tax rates. in the national security arena, as the horror story goes, expanding missile threats and nuclear weapons technology amongst terrorists and terrorist-supporting nations. And what is that President of the United States' response? To do away with missile defense. In a world of expanding missile threats, not have a missile defense, as the horror story goes. And it's frightening. It's a very frightening horror story for someone who would hope that it would be fiction. And as the horror story goes, a nation could not sustain itself by spending as many dollars as there were stars in the sky. And the economic bailout stimulus package did nothing more than cause a weight upon the economy. You know? And as the horror story goes, here on Halloween, an elected president of the United States, after acquiring so much power, after doing away with missile defense in a world of expanding, after violations of Second Amendment rights, after colossal decisions on taxes and energy, when America needed it most. What are the people of the United States to think? What are they to think about this horror story that I'm telling them here on the Texas Conservative Channel, where the president can give the White House and the Oval Office access to the highest bidder, as this president of the United States is doing, where Democrats within this horror story can change the definition of words, such as the previous Democrat president. What's the definition of the word is, and use that word is for whatever they want. And now, you've got a president of the United States that says, according to his economic stimulus bailout, basically saying because of all his lies about taxes and his red ink, that because look at what he's done. Barack Obama, the President of the United States in this horror story, wants to take credit for an increase in unemployment. He said it wouldn't go beyond 8% in this horror story. And he says his policies have saved or created 1 million jobs. I mean, it doesn't matter how it come about, it doesn't matter what the math shows, but somehow any job or anybody willing to go to work was created by Barack Obama. And if those are not the correct figures, then at least he's saying that he's taking credit for jobs that are not created. I saved, 1 million jobs. He's trying to take credit for jobs that he didn't create. He's trying to give you fuzzy math. And that's my job here on the Texas Conservative Channel, to point out the stupidity of it and point it out in this horror story. This horror story called the policies of Barack Obama. The policies of Barack Obama. The horror of the Barack Obama administration. The horror story of the Barack Obama Administration, people. And you heard it here on the Texas Conservative Channel. You can see it tomorrow night, Sunday, live, for 1 hour, live on the internet at www.stickem.com. We'll see you then, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Texas Conservative Channel. Catch me on the next episode.